Welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. Fire your third-party buying service and start generating your own leads. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I'll be your moderator today. And today's webinar is being presented by DealerOn. And for anyone who isn't familiar with DealerOn, well, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency, best known for our search engine optimization, our best-in-class customer service, and our award-winning websites. Recently at NADA, DealerOn received the Best in Show Award for Website Design from Dealer Marketing Magazine. DealerOn was named the top-rated website provider by Driving Sales in 2012 and 2013. And oh yeah, DealerOn customers have been winners of the Digital Dealer Website Excellence Award's highly coveted overall winner 4 times in a row. We're the only website company that can claim that. DealerOn is so committed to lead conversion, optimization, and customer service that we're the only company in the industry to offer a money-back lead guarantee program. So does your website company guarantee you leads? Well, then maybe you should check us out at dealeron.com. And we have a great show in store for you today. We're very pleased to have Jerry Thibeau as our presenter today. Jerry Thibeau is the president and founder of Phone Ninjas, a company focused on helping dealerships improve phone skills. Jerry's success with clients has made Phone Ninjas one of the hottest and fastest growing companies in the automotive sector. Phone Ninjas was a recent winner of the PCG Spotlight Awards for one of the top 5 products at NADA. Jerry is a 27-year automotive veteran and has earned the nickname the Phone Ninja for his ability to turn even the hardest of phone shoppers into real appointments that show. Having personally listened to and provided coaching feedback on more than 10,000 sales calls, Thibeau is the industry's best and brightest when it comes to evaluating a phone conversation. Jerry has written countless articles for the industry and is an active blogger on all of the popular automotive social media sites. And he can be reached at jerry@phoneninjas.com. Now, during the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature. It's located on the corner of your screen, and submit them. At the end of the presentation, we'll answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, don't worry, we're going to respond by email to you later today. Also, don't forget, a link to download a copy of the webinar recording will also be emailed to you later today for your reference, and please feel free to share it with friends and colleagues. And I also wanted to let you know that DealerOn will be at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention in Las Vegas. Oh, I should tell you, yes, after the webinar, we are going to have a survey, so please fill it out, because we're always looking for great feedback from you. We are going to be giving out some Google prizes if you fill out that survey. So thank you so much. And yes, DealerOn's going to be at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention in Las Vegas, baby. It's going to be at the Mirage, October 15, 16, and 17. DealerOn is going to be at booth 809, and we're going to have not 1, not 2. I found out this morning we're having 5. I only have 4 up here. We're going to have 5 DealerOn presenters during this year's Digital Dealer Fall Conference. That's never happened to any company ever before. 5 different presenters. So if you're going to be there, you got to come out, check out those speaking sessions. They're all amazing, and I want to see you at the booth. You definitely don't want to miss this. For more information or to get your tickets, go check out digitaldealerconference.com. And not to be outdone, of course, Jerry himself will also be at the Digital Dealer Convention. He has his booth, and he's presenting as well. When a Stranger Calls. Sounds ominous, but I bet it's going to be an amazing presentation. So if you're going to be there, you don't want to miss Jerry live and in action either. And guess what? Our good friends at Phone Ninjas are giving away some fantastic prizes today on the webinar. One of you lucky webinar registrants is going to win a plane ticket anywhere Delta flies within the contiguous 48 states. Jerry is also going to be giving away a whole bunch of cookies today, too. But you have to be on the live broadcast to win. Just stay tuned for the details after Jerry's presentation, and you could be scoring one of these awesome prizes today. So let's get started. Let's learn how to fire your third-party buying service and start generating our own leads. Jerry Thibeau, how are you?
I'm doing great, Eliana. Thanks for having me today.
Jerry, I really think you're trying to get me in trouble with this kind of a presentation. This flies in the face of convention, doesn't it? This is not something...
It's definitely a provoking title, and I'm not saying to dealers to go out and fire all their third-party lead providers tomorrow, but I want them to think about how they're generating their business. And in today's session, we're going to talk about how they can grow their business without relying on third-party leads. And some dealers out there are, are doing a good job with third-party leads. And if you are, then hey, hang on to them. But understand that that's costing you money, and there's a better way that you can generate those leads. The salespeople that are on our webinar today, we're going to talk to them about how to hunt and farm instead of just waiting to be fed. Today's salesperson waits for the customer to come to them, and I'm going to teach them how to go out and find those customers and how to generate their own business without relying on that person walking in the dealership or phoning or emailing. We're going to talk about how salespeople can make a six-figure income in our industry when they do the right things. And unfortunately, a lot of our salespeople out there today are not doing the right things, and we'll talk about that. We're going to get some real-world examples of people generating leads from the contest submissions that we got, and we'll go over those. And then we're going to end it with a little question and answer session at the end of the webinar.
Yes, and audience, if you do have questions, please send them on during the presentation, and we will hold on to them until the appropriate time at the end of the presentation. But before you get started, Jerry, I just want to say to the audience, we recognize that Jerry is delivering a fairly controversial point of view today on our webinar. I want to make it clear that Dealer On does not necessarily endorse or advocate the positions, strategies, or techniques that any of our presenters make on our webinar series. We have and will continue to provide these webinars as a purely educational forum to help dealers sell and service more cars more profitably, and we leave it up to you, our valued listeners, to decide for yourselves that the information presented is right for you and your dealership. And in fact, we welcome all points of view, and we're always looking for the latest innovations, cutting-edge strategies, and comprehensive best practices. So if you have a webinar topic for a future webinar that advocates positions different from Jerry or any of our presenters, and you think you got what it takes to put on a great educational webinar presentation, then please reach out to me directly. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll gladly try and get you on the Dealer On webinar schedule as soon as possible. So without further ado, Jerry, take it away.
All right, so what we have here is I chose Charlotte, North Carolina, since that's where I live. And Charlotte has about roughly 2.3 million potential customers in the greater Charlotte area. And, if you think about it, dealers, manufacturers, and third parties are all vying for those customers to either visit their websites or visit them in person. And I'm going to take manufacturers out of this because, hey, what they're doing is good stuff. They're trying to drive customers to their products and to their dealerships, but at the end of the day, it's really dealers and third parties that are vying for those customers. And, they're both spending money on advertising to drive traffic to their websites or to their businesses, and that advertising dollars are generating leads. Now, because third parties are generating leads, obviously dealers say, hey, we have to start buying these leads from third parties, and so the third-party leads start coming into the dealerships. Well, because there are so many dealerships out there spending money with these third parties have a very nice revenue stream that they're able to then turn around and spend more money on advertising, which generates more leads, and they can feed more leads to their dealers. And if you think about it, we're trying to build a relationship with customers, and third parties are getting in between us and that relationship that we can have directly with customers. So if your dealership really wants to focus on third-party leads, then, hey, why do you need to be doing advertising if that's the business model that you want to go after? But by feeding these third-party lead companies, you're hurting your relationship with customers. And some of these third-party leads are, it's like, I'm going to try to refrain from mentioning any by name, but there are some that will make you look bad to get customers to come to them instead of going directly to you. And they're just putting that fear, uncertainty, and doubt out there, and that's why I don't like feeding these third-party lead companies. I guarantee you right now there's some guy sitting at his desk behind a computer trying to figure out a way to build a website so that they can extract money from you. And every time you feed one of these entities, they continue to grow. They get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like, if I saw a cockroach come into my kitchen and I go, oh, look, it's a cute little cockroach. Let me feed it, Well, next thing I know, I'm going to have a million little cockroaches all over the place. And the more we feed these third-party lead companies, the bigger they get. I can think of one right now that and you all probably know which one that I'm talking about here, but one that I really don't like whatsoever. They are spending millions of dollars in advertising right now, and the more money they take in, the more money they spend. The more money they spend, the more people they get coming to their site, and you're just going to be writing a bigger check to this company down the road. And when these companies grow up and become very dominant in our industry, you almost have to play by their rules instead of them playing by your rules. And we're seeing that happen today with a lot of third-party lead providers. And so there's a better way. We can generate our own leads. And if you don't think these lead providers are out there doing a good job at taking your customers away from you, here's a good example right here. I went out and did a Google search yesterday, and I typed in best price for Honda Accord in Charlotte. And here's what came up. You can see the folks at Car Gurus, they have the top 2 listings, followed by Scott Clark Honda, which is a good Honda dealership here in Charlotte. And then we've got Auto Trader comes in 4th, followed by Yahoo Autos. And then we've got our friends at TrueCars.com, and we got a Hendrick dealership there at the bottom. And so they are vying for SEO. Matter of fact, the folks at TrueCar might want to start poaching some of the SEO gurus over at Car Gurus, because they seem to know what they're doing since they have the number 1 and 2 ranking. And I'm not saying that, like there are third-party lead providers that you're going to want to continue using. Auto Trader, Cars.com, they've built a name for themselves, and they do generate some good traffic to your dealership. So it's kind of hard to say, hey, turn those guys off, because they are doing good things for you. But some of these other companies, I really question, do you need to be using them? So, Eliana, let's go ahead and do our poll questions.
Yes, audience, there's going to be lots of poll questions and lots of opportunities for you to win tins of cookies, by the way. But this is our first poll question for the day, so if you could, please look at your screen and answer this following question. What is your current average expense on third-party leads per month? Please select one of just the following answers. Is it $10,000 or less? $10,000 to $20,000? Is it more like $20,000 to $30,000? Or are you one of those dealers who spends over $30,000 a month per third-party lead provider? Or maybe you don't know and you're not sure, you can select that answer as well. Once we get a majority of the votes in, we'll close the poll and share the results. And the votes are still coming in. You know what?
Let's take a guess, Eliana. What do you think it's going to? Well, you're probably seeing the results, but I'm not seeing the results. But my guess would be it's over 20,000.
Okay. Well, we do have a couple of questions from the audience. They said, "Is this including vendors like Cars.com and Auto Trader?" We have that question from a few people.
Yes, absolutely. I would include them in that number.
Okay, so hopefully that helps you out, audience. Yes, include all of your third-party leads, but not OEM, right?
Not OEM, no, because typically they're not paying for OEM.
Well, that's true. They're not paying for that. Okay.
At least I hope they're not.
Okay, and we have some people that are writing in the answers, and you should be able to select the answer actually on your screen with your mouse. If that's at all possible, if you could do that and get your votes in, we'd really appreciate that. And somebody wrote in, does this also include AdWords?
That's a good one. I would say, Google is a third-party lead provider, so yeah, I'd say that would include AdWords.
Really? I was going to say no.
You know what? No, let's take that. Let's leave Google out of it, because AdWords is driving traffic to your website, so
yes.
Let's leave Google out of that.
Yeah. So no, it does not include AdWords, but great question. Thank you so much. And oh my gosh, almost everyone's voted now. So audience, thank you so much for getting involved with our poll question. We really appreciate it. We're going to close this poll and share the results with you. And
before you share the results, why don't you go ahead and start the next poll question, and then while they're answering that, we'll share the results and talk about it.
I don't think I can do that.
Okay, all right. Then go ahead then. Go ahead. Give us the answer, Elliot.
Okay, thanks. Okay, 48% of today's audience said that they spend $10,000 or less per month on third-party leads. That's almost half of the audience, though. 26% of today's audience said it's more like $10,000 to $20,000. 7% of today's audience said it's 20 to 30,000. Only 2% of today's audience said that they spend over $30,000 a month. And there's a pretty big number of people who actually don't know or aren't sure what their current average spend is on third-party leads per month. 17% of today's audience.
Okay. All right. Well, that was interesting. So it's actually 10,000 or less is the more dominant answer. And
Yes.
that's probably the reason why that is because a lot of the dealers that are on this webinar are cutting edge because they're out there looking to educate themselves and they're doing the right things. It's the dealers that are not on this webinar that are probably spending all the money. So, all right, let's go with our next poll question.
Okay, next poll question's coming right to you, audience. Here we go. What is your most effective third-party lead provider from this list? Please select one of the following answers. Do you like AutoTrader? Are you a fan of Edmunds? Maybe it's Cars.com that does it for you. Are you a true carbie? Or is it Craigslist that you like? Whichever the answer is, we want to know. Once we get a majority of the votes in, we'll close the poll and share the results. I know we could have had, there's so many people writing in, what about this, what about them? Hey, there's lots of people out there that we could have listed on here.
If they want to write them in, go ahead and read a couple of them off. Some people feel that, maybe we might learn something today. But, I put Craigslist in here. It's a free one, obviously, but we listen to a lot of phone calls at Phone Ninjas, and we are seeing a lot of dealerships have success with Craigslist. So if you're not using Craigslist, that's one that I would recommend you use because it's free.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So what are some of the write-ins so far,
Well,
Eliana?
first of all, let's get this question out of the way. James says, can you define effective? Are we looking at gross or just units sold versus leads?
Well, and that's a really good question to ask because it's, you could look at it, gross. You could look at it total units delivered. You could look at ROI, how much am I spending versus how much am I making. So for me, it would be about ROI. If I'm spending $5,000, am I spending $5,000 to make $6,000 because that's probably a pretty crappy ROI. But if I'm spending $5,000 to make $50,000, then to me that's probably the better lead provider.
Right. I do want to also let you know, audience, we do have a lot of people who are writing in some really great companies. And so for instance, we have some people who wrote in about eBay is by far their number one. They love eBay. Auto USA, lots of people wrote in Auto Bytel. Dealix came up more than once. So there are some really great companies out there that people really, really like. And we also have an equal number of people who said that they hate all 5 of the ones that you listed. So I don't know what the right answer is.
That's because when you feed the baby alligator, eventually it's going to grow up and eat you.
Baby alligators. Okay, great. All right, well, let's close this poll and see what the rest of the audience said. Okay, 39% of today's audience, so the biggest vote getter was AutoTrader. They like AutoTrader. 34% said Cars.com does it for them. They like Cars.com. We got 4% that said Edmunds, 10% said TrueCar, and 13% said Craigslist.
All right, very interesting numbers there. All right, so let's move along in our presentation. And here's a cookie opportunity for somebody to win some cookies if they get the answer within 20 seconds.
Oh my goodness, wait, let me get ready for this one.
All right, so folks,
audience,
get ready to type in here. When we think about building relationships with customers, from a manufacturer, from the dealership, or from the third-party lead, what's the missing link? What's another way that we could possibly build a relationship with a customer? What's the missing link? All
right, audience, first person to write in the correct response is going to win this. I actually have not seen the correct response yet, so if you want to write on in and guess more than once, you let me know. But he's looking for the missing link at the dealership, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, no, it's not in there yet.
Nobody's getting this one. Huh? This is a pretty easy one. And this is part of the problem right here. Eliana, we're not going to give this prize away. If nobody's come up with this answer, we're going to move on. The answer is salespeople. Each of your dealerships has X number of salespeople working there, and they're the ones who should be building relationships with the people in their communities and developing opportunities for the dealership. When I was a car salesperson back in the 80s, my general manager would go, "Hey, Jerry, how many ups did you take today?" I'd go, "I took 2 so far." He's like, "Okay, well, look, I gave you 2 opportunities. Now you need to bring 2 opportunities to the dealership. I don't want you taking any more ups until you come up with 2 of your own prospects. And I would have to go find my own prospects. And, I believe that today that's a lost art. We're relying on walk-ins, internet leads, phone ups, and a lot of salespeople are doing this. They're looking out the window, waiting for opportunities. They're afraid, hey, while I'm on the phone or calling somebody, I'm going to miss somebody walking in, and that's the wrong approach to take. And if we think about our sources, walk-in customers close at about a 20% or less close ratio. Phone customers, heck, I see dealerships as low as 5%. The better dealerships are doing 20%, or in some cases even doing better than that. Internet leads, the average dealer out there is probably 10%. We see some that are, doing 15%. I actually see people like Robert Wiseman or Elise Kephart who are doing 20% or better because they have such a unique way about doing their business. But when we start focusing on people that we've met with or dealt with or past customers, the closing ratio on those people is much higher when you can get them back into the dealership. It's 40 to 50%. On service people, people that are visiting your dealership for service, you can close them at a 40 to 50% clip. Referrals, people that have, that are referred to you, that's a great opportunity. And the problem is our salespeople today are focusing on the top 3 customer sources instead of the bottom 3. And I'm going to give the magic formula for how to build a great business so that you're not having to wait on walk-in customers. Our industry is littered with bad examples of people who have sold cars for 10 years. Those people are still taking fresh ups to sell their 10 cars per month. And, I see this out there all the time when I travel, and it's just a shame that people are still doing this. If you're a 10-year veteran, you should be selling 20-plus cars a month, and you should be doing it without taking a single up. And if your dealership has these people and they're, still taking ups, shame on you for letting them, get that way because they weren't properly managed. And I'm going to show you how to properly manage your salespeople so that they are not that 10-year veteran. And, sometimes you get the 20-car a month guy who's selling 20 cars a month, and he thinks, hey, I'm the top guy here. You can't touch me. Yet people don't realize that guy that's selling 20 cars a month, it's because he's taking 200 ups or 100 ups or, he's taking more than his fair share. And so you really need to look at how many ups are my salespeople taking, how many opportunities they're bringing to the dealership on their own, and look at that overall picture. So let's talk about how we can build a good, solid base to work from. The average salesperson will meet with roughly 50 customers per month. Okay, and if you over a 1-year period, that's going to be 600 people. Over a 4-year period, I will have put 2,400 opportunities into my CRM system. Now, Eliana, how many cars are there in your driveway at night?
How many cars are in my driveway? 1, 2, 3.
3. Oh, that's a fleet deal right there. Okay, so the average family has 2 vehicles, so you have one more than the average family. But then again, you're not that average, so that doesn't surprise me that you have 3.
My husband's a car guy. He loves cars.
All right. So really, that's 4,800 opportunities that each salesperson will have talked to over a 4-year period. And the average customer will purchase a car every 4.1 years. And if you're a dealership that does a great job with leasing, hey, that number goes down even lower. Okay? So in any given year, if I have 4,800 people in my CRM system, that means that in any given year, after 4 years, I'm going to have potentially 1,170 people that might be in the market for a vehicle in that given year. You work that out over a 12-month period, and we're talking almost 100 people per month that are going to be ready to buy a new vehicle. Of those 100 people that are in your CRM system, how many of those people can you close? If you're following up with those people and doing all the right things that I'm going to talk about here later in the webinar. And, the problem is that a lot of salespeople only focus on the people they don't sell or the people that they sell. They forget about all those people that they didn't sell. And, if you want to, get that customer, you might have to work a little harder. And here's another cookie question. When do we give up on a customer? Let's see if anybody can get this one right.
All right,
when
audience.
Do we give up on a customer?
Oh, we got winners right away on that
one. Who is the first one? Give us the first
one. Oh my goodness.
one.
Okay, wait, I got to scroll up. Answers are still coming in. The answer, Never, by Jonathan Bast. Jonathan Bast, I hope I said your name right. Please write on in. Let me know what dealership you're from. And don't forget to also write in your mailing address so we can get some cookies out to you.
Yes, and I tell them they probably want to put their home personal address in here because I've shipped cookies to dealerships before, and the parts guys will eat them. So, so put your home address
parts guys, they love their sweet.
Yes, yes. All right, so the answer is when you give up on a customer, when they put the body in the ground. When that person dies, all right, you never give up on them. And the average person will spend up to $300,000 on automobiles in their lifetime. They might buy 10 to 12 different cars. So you keep working them. And, you know, my philosophy is if you treat them like a customer, they may eventually become a customer. And if you do a great job following up with somebody, even though they bought from a different dealership, you keep them in your CRM system, and you do all the things that I'm going to talk about here, they're going to remember you more than they will their original salesperson, and thus you're more likely to earn their business the next time around. Or when their spouse is in the market, you're going to potentially get them as well. So let's talk about some relationship building tools. The number one tool, I should have made this a quickie question, but the number one tool is your CRM system. And I get people asking me all the time, Jerry, what's the best CRM system out there? Well, the best CRM system is the one that you fully utilize. Yes, there are a lot of different options available in the automotive industry today, and there are a lot of good ones. And, you know, do I have my favorites? Yeah, I would say I have my favorites. Will I disclose who they are? Probably not. But if you talk to me in person, I'll tell you who they are. And, you know, a lot of people say, you know, well, geez, maybe I should switch my CRM company. And to me, a CRM is like being married. You know, sometimes it's best to work with what you got because going through that divorce can be very painful, expensive. It's a nightmare. And when you do get a new one, you're not always going to be guaranteed the one that you get's going to be any better than the one that you just got rid of. So, you know, work with your CRM companies to if you have issues, see if they can't resolve them. A lot of the companies that I like and know, you know, they will work with their customers to fix issues that they might have in their CRM or options that they're missing. So the best CRM is the one that you fully utilize. And I find that most dealerships don't do a very good job of utilizing their CRM. Most salespeople view CRM as a nuisance. It's like, oh, God, I got to put the people in there. It's like, I don't want to follow up with them. They're holding me accountable. Well, salespeople understand one thing, that a CRM is there to help you. You know, back when I sold cars in the 80s, I would have loved to have had a tool like this. For me, my CRM system was a metal box, and I used to have to put index cards in them. And then they had to write in a little day planner when I was going to call those people. It was a nightmare. Today we get these great computer systems. So utilize CRM. And when you put people in your CRM systems, you need to put all the information, their full name. You need to get their spouse's information. You need to know what types of cars they're driving. You need to collect email addresses because it's a free form of marketing to people. The more data you put into your CRM system, the better off you're going to be. Now, to me, Facebook is a social CRM tool. It's a way for you to stay connected with customers. And why Facebook? Because that's where your customers are. You know, I forget the number. It's over 1 billion people are on Facebook these days. And the average person spends 55 minutes a day on Facebook. And, you know, the problem is I see a lot of dealerships that block Facebook. They lock it down so that their salespeople can't be on Facebook because they're afraid of what they're going to say. It's like, hey, you should be more afraid about what they're saying on the lot because you can't even hear what they're saying to the customers on the lot. But at least on Facebook, you can be monitoring them and you can see what they're saying to customers. And people don't want to interact with a fan page. They want to interact with real people. And this is a relationship building tool because as I think about all the relationships I've made in the car business. I mean, I go to these conferences and I meet people walk up to me and, hey, Jerry, how you doing? We're friends on Facebook. And it's like instantly I recognize the face and I put the face with the name. And I can't tell you how many relationships I've built on Facebook and how it's helped me grow my business. And you should not be afraid of Facebook. You should encourage your salespeople to build relationships with their customers. You can wish people happy birthdays. You can invite them into events that you're having at the dealership. You can use Facebook to do advertising. If I was a salesperson, I would be putting all of my dealership's advertising on my Facebook page for my friends to see. And one of the nice things that I love is whenever I do get a new customer and I plug them into Facebook, I get to see who their friends are, and every now and then their friends might be my friends. Now I have an instant relationship with that person through a mutual friend. So I could go on and on about Facebook and why you should be using it. And if you're worried that, hey, when a salesperson quits my dealership, they're going to take their Facebook account and they're going to go to a different dealership and use it, well, have a policy in your dealership where you say, okay, we're going to create you a work Facebook account. It's going to be tied to your work email. Should you ever leave our dealership, we control this Facebook page. And we want you to invite, your customers to be friends with you on Facebook. If that person leaves, then you take control of it and shut it down. Enough on Facebook. The telephone is obviously a great relationship building tool. And, if I had my way, I would rather, talk to somebody on the telephone than over the internet. Ultimately, I'd like to talk to them face to face, but the telephone is the #1 tool that we have to make appointments. And not only the hardline telephone, but your smartphones. That's a great tool as well. And salespeople need to be using these in conjunction with their hard lines as well. And for all of you dealers that are on this session right now, I want you to go to your cell phone at some point, not right now, but later today. I want you to put in your dealership name and do a search on your phone. And when your website comes up, I want you to look and see, is there an easy click-to-call feature in your mobile website? Because if people can't see that and click on that to call you, you are missing out on a huge opportunity. I was at a conference at Google a month or so ago, and they talked about how the telephone is going to become more prevalent than internet leads because people are going to get on their phone, they're going to search out your website, if there's a click-to-call button there, they're going to activate that. You're going to start getting more phone calls, so make sure that's ready to go. LinkedIn. Hey, here's a great networking tool that we can use to market, advertise, and connect with people. Email. Email is a great little tool. I always tell people, though, that when you write an email, keep it short and sweet. People don't want to read a book when they're reading your email. Your initial emails need to be void of any pictures or links. If you want to avoid being spammed, we see spam as a big issue out there still. Use these tools that allow you to proper spell and punctuate and grammar. You would not believe the stuff we're seeing come in from dealerships when we mystery shop them. So email is important. Newsletters. I don't see too much of this out there anymore. There are some companies that are focused on the automotive industry that will help you build newsletters. And as a salesperson, I would encourage you to have your own newsletter list. And when you do a newsletter, it's not all about selling. It's about providing value to your customers. And, yeah, maybe you have an article in there about the new cars that are coming out. Maybe you have an article about the service tip of the month, or maybe you teach them how to detail their car. I would also include, I would go out to local businesses, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit later too. I would go out to local businesses and say, look, hey, I'm a salesperson at XYZ Motors, and I love connecting with other businesses to see how we can mutually benefit each other. I have a newsletter that I do every month, and as the owner of this restaurant, I'm sure you'd like to get some new customers in here, wouldn't you? Well, great. Instead of going to Groupon and giving them half of your revenue, why don't you give me the ability to print a 20% off coupon for your restaurant in my newsletter, and I'll give you a little write-up. And, it's little things like that that, will help you build relationships with the people in your community. YouTube. Yes, this takes a little effort and time, but, Robert Wiseman and Elise Kephart, they are probably two of the best when it comes to YouTube. And if you don't know who they are, I'm sure many of you do, but if you don't, go check them out. They do some great videos, and, you need to be incorporating videos into everything you do, whether it's in email or putting them on Facebook, and build your brand. Salespeople, you are a business within a business, and it's up to you to build your brand. Twitter, I have a Twitter account, and unfortunately I don't use it as much as I should. I think there's a lot of people out there that like to tweet, but I can't say there's a lot of people actually reading all those tweets. And there are so many different things out there. Sometimes you have to pick and choose what you want to be great at, and it's hard to be great at all of it. So, for me, if I had to pick and choose a few of these tools, Facebook would certainly be up there. The telephone would be up there. Email, newsletter, YouTube. Twitter might be a little bit lower on my list. But, guys like Jeff Kirshner, the guy's on Twitter all day long, so a guy like him, he loves Twitter.
He just wrote in, too. He wanted to know what you thought about walk-around videos.
Walk-around videos are awesome. It's like, and, Eric Milch, who's a good friend of mine, who's going to be part of the Dealer Think Tank, which, stay tuned for some Dealer Think Tank stuff. That's going to be coming out pretty cool pretty soon here. Well, Eric has this stick, and it's like an expandable little stick that he can click his phone. He puts his phone in the end of it, and then he holds the thing up in the air, and he's got a little clicker in his hand. So he can take videos, he can take pictures, and it kind of gives you a bird's eye view of yourself and the environment that you're in. And I'm going to ask Eric to make a little video of that thing and put it out there on Facebook. And if you're not friends with Eric, send him a friend invite. Eric Milch, great guy. He's friends with me on Facebook. You can find him through my Facebook page. And Eric, I hope you make that video if you're on this webinar, which I think you are. All right. Hey, how about the Postal Service? There's still an art to sending out snail mail. And a lot of salespeople out there are still sending out Christmas cards. Well, I say screw the Christmas cards because you're one of 40. If I'm going to send out a card, it's going to be a birthday card because there's a lot more meaning to a birthday card than a Christmas card. And people will remember you for sending them a birthday card, whereas, Christmas cards, I don't even remember if you sent me one, Elliot. Did you send me a Christmas card this last year?
I don't.
Well, I better
don't
get
know.
a birthday card. I better get a birthday card from you from all these webinars I'm doing with you.
Oh, really?
Yes. All right, Pinterest. Hey, you're going to see one of the people who wrote in a way that they've been getting referrals. He talks about how he's used Pinterest. And, I'm not a big Pinterest guy yet. I imagine at some point I probably will. It might not so much apply to my business as it does to a car dealership. But every time you deliver a car, you should be taking a picture of that happy customer and putting it on your Pinterest page and making sure that you do get permission from your customers to do that. There's a lot of people out there looking at that stuff, and unfortunately I'm not one of them. FedEx. So if you want to get something read, if you absolutely want to get something read, and you don't have to use FedEx, you can use the United States Postal Service. Like I like to sometimes send out second-day priority mail, which costs me $5.95 when I want to send something to somebody. And when I send that, I know it gets read. I was at the Dealer Sockets User Summit a week and a half ago, and they talked about a campaign that they do to try to get people to trade their cars in, and they send out a FedEx to the customers because they know that people are going to read it, and they put a very detailed message in there. And when you have a good marketing campaign and you know that it's going to be very effective, but you want it to be read, well, hey, people are going to open that stuff and they're going to read it. So don't discount that one. Yes, it costs a little bit more, but when you're sending a really great message, it can be very effective. And I put WordPress as my last one. I don't see this too often, but WordPress is not a very difficult tool to use. I built my very first website for Phone Ninjas using WordPress. And salespeople, I would encourage you to build your own websites, to build your brand. We're going to see Mike the Car Guy's website here in a little bit. I'm going to give him some feedback about his website as well. But this is technology at its finest. There's a lot of great things out there. And Eliana, I want to open it up to the audience real quick before we move on. And let's ask people, is there some sort of social media thing that you're using out there that I didn't talk about right here that's successful for you? We're going to actually open up the phone line. We're going to interview you a little bit. So if you say, yes, I have something I'd like to share, make sure that you have a microphone on your computer or that you're dialed in on a landline so that we can hear you. A lot of times people will say, oh, I can answer that, and then we click on them and they don't have a microphone on their computer. So, Eliana, do we have anybody that would like to volunteer to talk about something that they're doing that's outside the box that we didn't talk about here?
Specifically about social media, though, right?
Well, it could be, some sort of social media site or some sort of tool that they're using. I mean, it could be maybe they're putting business cards on their cars on Sundays. Anybody who's got a thought that they're using.
Actually, I have two really, really good ones. First one comes to, do you want me to just unmute them?
unmute them. Introduce them and unmute them. And
Kelly Wilson, I'm coming your way, Kelly Wilson, so get ready. I'm going to unmute you. She wrote in a really, really great idea. Here we go. Kelly Wilson?
Hello?
Hi, Kelly.
Hello?
I hear a little bit of an echo, so I'm going to try not to talk too much. But if you could share your idea with the rest of the audience, we'd appreciate it.
Oh, we actually send out real birthday cards that are really adorable. Every week we fill out every customer who has purchased a vehicle within the last 10 years a birthday card. And we also send, it looks like a little dollar bill with our marketing moose. And they get a free car wash. It turns over a lot of traffic for our fixed ops side. And occasionally, you know, you do get a sale out of that also. But it definitely brings in a lot of people just to get their free car wash. And then they remember they needed an oil change and they haven't got one from you in 3 years.
Love it, Kelly. Good stuff.
That's fantastic. Kelly, can you tell us what dealership you're with?
Oliver C. Joseph.
Thank you so much for your participation in today's webinar. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Who's our next volunteer?
Our next one, oh, you know him quite well, my friend. Let me find him on the list here. Robert Wiseman is on the call, and he's got something to add. Robert, how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good.
Thank you so much for being here today. So you
my
have
God.
a few ideas.
How are you,
there.
Jerry? What's going on, man?
I'm doing awesome, Robert. Tell us about your idea.
All right. Well, as far as social media, I'm going to give you guys a cool mailer thing I did too, but social media, Instagram and Flickr are on fire. I didn't see that those were listed on there, but Flickr is good. Instagram is the...
Robert, you're breaking up a little bit.
I don't know what happened to Robert, but he is not. All right, Robert, if you come back on, you let me know, okay?
All right, obviously I'm missing out on Instagram and Flickr myself here, so those are two options as well. Perhaps we can get Robert to write on his Facebook page how he's using Instagram and Flickr. And
well, you know what? We have somebody else who can talk.
Okay.
Elise Kephart made it to the show today, so I love me some Elise. Elise, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing so well. Thank you so much for being here today.
I got in a little late, but I made it.
So Robert got cut off before he could tell us what he does with Instagram, but you also said you do something with Instagram. You want to tell us what it is?
Yeah, you know, Instagram, kind of the same thing as Facebook. A lot of people that aren't on Facebook because they don't necessarily like it quite as much have Instagram. And so kind of the same concept with just, you know, photographing them with their car, tagging them. You know, usually they'll reshare it on their page. You can do some stuff with video now on Instagram too. So the thing about video is it's not long. They cut you off at about 30 seconds. But you can do some cool stuff with just video clips on Instagram. And like I work obviously for Honda, and they have a Vine, which is similar to Instagram in the video aspect of it, and they have some really creative stuff that they do that you can pick up on just on how they film it and kind of the message that they get across. But Instagram's a good one. You know, when you're selling cars, this is kind of you know, I didn't come up with this, I learned it, but going to the bank and cashing out, you know, some money and getting all $2 bills. And when you deliver a car, put a $2 bill in the gas tank with a handwritten note. It's just kind of a surprise when they fill up their gas tank for the first time. You know, another one, I just saw this actually on a TV show, and I tried it out. If you sell a car to a business owner, you know, and they have or someone that works at a pretty reputable local company. You can actually go online and customize ice cream, customize your label on it, get it sent to that business, so the staff can kind of have their own, you know, ice cream party, but it's sent by you. And when they actually look at the ice cream, it has kind of your brand all over it. And I would only guess that you're going to be the conversation of that, you know, when everybody's eating their ice cream for a good 5 minutes or so, because they're going to go, oh, who sent this? You know, oh, you bought your car from who? Where did you get it from? How do you like it? And so forth. And then, of course, you know, you guys touched on this. Handwritten birthday cards are always, you know, more impactful than.
Elise, and I'm also a big believer that when somebody comes to your dealership, you know, first time meet and greet, a handwritten thank you note, thank you for stopping to my dealership is another, I mean, nobody does that anymore. It's something I used to do all the time when I sold cars. And, you know, you're going to be that one person that sticks out in their memory. And that's about building the relationship. The better your relationship, the better your chances are of closing that customer.
Right,
and,
right.
You know, at least something else that you do that I really love is you have a very unique referral program, and the fact that you have a Elise Kephart branded credit card that you purchase, and then you put, what is it, $50 on that card? And you send
$50. It's $5 to get it customized so that it has your picture on it and your, you know, your name and your information. But instead of just you know, a regular Visa gift card that's templated, or a Target gift card, it's an actual Visa card that you upload money on with your picture, your face, and your brand all over it. So when you get a referral, that's what's going to be in their wallet when they use it. So.
Okay, that card is cool. Where do you get that done? Because people are asking.
I get that at giftcardlab.com.
Giftcardlab.com. Elise, fantastic ideas. Thank you so much.
And thank you for participating, Elise. It's always good to talk to you, and we miss you at Phone Ninjas.
I saw that you were doing this. I logged in a little bit late, but I have it going on in the background, and it's good stuff. So I'm happy.
All right, awesome. All right, thanks, Elise. All right, let's continue on with the webinar, Eliana, so we're not keeping everybody from doing what they should be doing, which is selling cars later today. All right, moving on. We have another cookie question. So those people that just participated in this do get cookies. So Elise,
I better write down their names.
and Kelly, go ahead and send your address and information to Eliana, and we'll get you some cookies. All right, so when we talk to customers, whether it be on social media, in person, or on the phone, I mean, obviously we're trying to set a dealership appointment. That's our whole goal. And, you know, I hear people asking for appointments in such weak ways. It's like, hey, Eliana, do you think you might want to come down here one of these days? Or possibly, could you, would you, maybe? You know, it's like, Eliana, when would you like to come down and look at these vehicles, now or later today? You know, ask for that appointment in an assumptive manner. It's like, you know, if you were at a bar, would you go up to a girl and go, hey, do you think you might want to have dinner with me? It'd be like, if I'm going to approach a girl at the bar and ask her to have dinner with me, it's like, hi, when would you like to have dinner with me, tonight or tomorrow night? You know, you got to have confidence when you ask for these things. And so many people, they don't ask in a confident way, and they don't get the result they're looking for. If you can't get that appointment, then it's set a future phone appointment. So figure out when you should call that person again. Before you get off the phone with somebody, find out when would be a better time for me to call you back. Should I call you back on Friday, or would you like me to call you on Monday? And go into your CRM. And if the customer said, call me back on Monday, I would even pick a specific time. I'd say, I'm going to call you at 9:15. And I'm hoping they say, no, call me at 10 instead. Well, now I have a good chance of getting hold of them because they told me exactly what time to call them, and then execute when that comes due. The third thing that we need to be doing when we talk to people is be a good detective. I want you to prospect. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Uncover how many vehicles they have in their family. Determine their buying patterns so that you know when to target them for an appointment. And then we're going to ask another cookie question here. What's the fourth thing that we should always be doing with customers when we're talking to them? The fourth thing that we should be doing with them.
All right, audience, I know a lot of people are writing in. Hold on one second.
Before we let somebody walk away or off the phone, we want to do this last thing with them.
Yep, we have a winner. Scott Klein is our winner. He was the first one to write in the correct response, which is ask for referrals. Thank you so much, Scott Klein.
We're going to talk about that a little bit here later. So let's talk about prospecting. All right. So earlier,
one second, Scott Klein. You got to write in your dealership name and your mailing address, please, if you wouldn't mind. Jerry, please. Thank you so much.
All right. So something that we want to be talking to every customer. This could be a fresh up. At some point, you're going to want to do this because remember, I told you there's 2 opportunities in every household. So you've got a hunting opportunity in front of you with that person looking to buy a car, and there's also a farming opportunity there because there's another car in their driveway that will probably get replaced at some point. So you always want to be asking people, how many drivers? How many vehicles are there in your family? You know, if somebody says, hey, we got 4 drivers and 3 vehicles, there might be a need here pretty soon. Who's likely to be next? That will identify who you need to be speaking with. What makes you say them? All right, it's going to help you determine a sales strategy. Number 5, when do you think that'll be? You know, that person might say this week, a year from now, a month from now, but I want to know when they're going to be ready. Okay, that way I can target my CRM follow-up with that customer. And I could even do this one. Hey, why wait? What if I could get you into a brand new vehicle, Eliana, and keep your payment similar to what you're paying now with little or no money down? Is that something you might be interested in?
Yeah.
You know, hey, we're all one good salesperson away from buying our next vehicle, okay? So where do we find friends and prospects, or find prospects? How about we start with friends and family? You know, when I started in the business, you know, the first thing they said was, I want you to write down a list of everybody that you know in the area. And I'm like, okay. And then they go, and then they looked at my list. They go, okay, these are your initial prospects. We want you to go find out what they're driving and when they're going to be ready to buy a car. And then come back to us when you have all that information. You know, that's a great place to start. And it's easy to do in today's, you know, technology age. You just go on Facebook and let everybody know what you're doing for a living, and then you slowly start reaching out to them. You know, maybe you pick 3 or 4 people a day and you interview them and you prospect them like I just did. People that you do business with. If you're going to the dry cleaners every week, you know, to drop off your laundry, then, you know, I would be asking those people in that dry cleaning business, hey, what kind of car do you drive? I would tell them what I do for a living. True story. I was with a salesperson in Kernersville, North Carolina. I was doing some training at a dealership, and this goes back, gosh, probably 4 or 5 years now. And one of the salespeople goes, hey, Jerry, can I go to lunch with you? I want to pick your brain. I'm like, sure, let's go. And so we went to Chick-fil-A. And we're in line, and we put our order, and I go, hey, watch this. And I go to the girl behind the counter. I go, hey, can I ask you a question? It's going to seem a little strange. And she's like looking at me a little funny. And I go, what kind of car do you drive? And she goes, why? Did you hit my car? She thought maybe I hit her car out in the parking lot. And I go, no. I go, the reason why I'm asking is I'm a car sales rep, and we're always curious as to what people are driving. And she goes, oh, I have a Ford Probe. I go, Ford Probe? I go, I haven't seen one of those things on the road in years. I forgot about that car. That was kind of a car ahead of its time back then. And so I go, well, have you been thinking about getting rid of it? And she goes, well, you know, funny that you should bring this up. She goes, I'm pregnant, and she was very pregnant. I go, she goes, my husband and I have been talking about getting a van. I go, oh, cool. What kind of van do you want to get? She goes, well, we're probably going to look at a minivan, a Dodge Caravan. And I go, today's your lucky day. We just happen to work at the local, you know, Chrysler Dodge Jeep dealer. And so I ended up making an appointment with her to come in and meet with that salesperson for Saturday, and he ended up selling her a pre-owned van just for me striking up a conversation with her at the counter while I was ordering food. And if people aren't willing to talk to me about what I do, then I certainly won't be doing business with them. I can take my business elsewhere. So you always want to be looking for opportunities out there. Sporting activities, you know, if you're at a Little League game, strike up a conversation with fellow parents. You know, I'm a big golfer, and, you know, I always like to talk to people about what I do. And, you know, when I was a car salesperson, hey, I had 4 hours with them. If you can't convince somebody in 4 hours that they need to do business with you, you probably shouldn't be in sales. You know, you put me on the golf course with a guy who's a Democrat, and within 4 hours, he'll be a registered Republican. Otherwise, I'm going to beat him over the head with my 3-iron. But, you know, look for these opportunities everywhere out there. If you belong to a church, people love to patronize other people in the church. I would go to my pastor, and I'm not an overly religious guy. I believe in God, but I don't go to church. But if I did get back in the car business, I would belong to a church, and I would find a church that had a lot of people, and I would become active in that church. And I would go to my priest, and I'd say, Father, wouldn't you like it if people tithe more to the church? And of course, he'd go, yes, son, I would love that. Well, I want to help you do that. You know, everybody in our church has a business or does something or, you know, sells something. Why don't we come up with a book that identifies what our parishioners do for a living, and then maybe next Sunday you can encourage us to do business with one another. And because we're generating more revenue, I will gladly take some of that money that I make from our churchgoers and I will give it to the church, and come up with a little book that talks about what everybody does. And I can tell you that there's a lot of salespeople in the car business that are active in their churches, and they do sell a lot of cars to the people in their churches. So that's a great one. Community associations, past customers. Hey, this is a technique I used to do, gas stations. When I sold cars back in the 80s, I used to go to the gas station on a daily basis. And whether my car needed $1, $5, whatever, I would stand there and pretend like I was pumping gas. And when I saw a nice car pull up next to me at one of the other gas pumps, something that I thought would be a good trade piece, I would always reach out to the person and go, hey, what year is that car you're driving? And they would, it's a 1984, they'd tell me what it was. And I'd be like, oh, cool, how many miles you got on it? And they'd tell me, I go, well, the reason I'm asking is I'm a sales rep over and I tell them in my dealership, I go, man, we're always looking for nice cars like that. Those are selling really well right now. Have you thought about maybe upgrading it? And people would be like, no, I'm probably going to hang on to it for another 6 months, maybe a year. I go, well, would you mind if I had the opportunity to buy that car from you in 6 months from when you're ready to get rid of it? No, give me your card. I'd give them my card, but then I'd pull out my little spiral notepad. I'd get their name and number. I'd go, I'm going to follow up with you in 6 months because this car would be great on our lot. And every now and then I would get somebody, and I would follow up with those people, by the way, and I'd sell some of those people. And every now and then I would get somebody to go, geez, how much do you think my car's worth? I go, that's a great question. You got 15 minutes? Follow me back to the dealership. I'd take them back to the dealership, and the best compliment that you can get as a salesperson is when somebody says, man, you're really good, because when I woke up this morning, I had no intentions of buying a new car. And that's selling, my friends. Waiting for people to come in the dealership and go, hey, I want to buy a car today. We can get order takers to do that. We need salespeople out there in our industry today. So let's talk about the asking for a referral. The number one reason why people don't get referrals is because they don't ask for them. And a lot of people confuse asking for a referral with suggesting for a referral. I hear a lot of salespeople go, hey, now do me a favor. If you know anybody else looking for a car, have them call me. I'll take good care of them, okay? Okay, thank you. And that's not asking for a referral. That's suggesting for a referral. If you want to get referrals, you got to ask for them. And you always want to be asking for them. So can I ask you for a small favor? Everybody will do you a small favor. Eliana, something we're really proud of here at the dealership is the fact that we get a lot of our business from repeat customers and referrals from people just like yourself. Now, our brain is like a computer, so I want to access the files in your computer. Who do you know? Maybe a friend, relative, neighbor, someone from work, or perhaps someone in passing. And then I want to keep the picture big. A lot of people focus on who wants to buy a car right now. Well, nobody knows anybody looking to buy a car right now, so we've got to keep the picture big. Who mentioned that one of these days they may be thinking of a new or pre-owned vehicle for themselves as well. Now, most people put no thought into this, and they go, I don't know anybody. It's because they didn't take the time to put the thought into it. So, and some people will come up with a referral, but it's shut up, wait, and listen and see what they say. And if they go, I don't know anybody, well, I'll show some understanding. I'll go, hey, I know that was a tough question. I probably caught you off guard, didn't I? And they'll go, yeah. Then I'll go, let me ask you an easier question. And I really slow this down when I say this. Let me ask you an easier question, Eliana. And all my customers can answer this one. Well, what am I saying to you if you can't answer this question? You're probably not too intelligent, right? And so here's when I put a little bit more thought into it. And I go, now of all the people that you know, Eliana, and I know you know a lot of people because I've seen them all on your Facebook page, who do you think is likely to be next? Not now, but down the road. And you watch. This is where they kind of start looking up into the sky, and then they come up with a name for you. And when they come up with that name, you can't go, hey, what's their name and number? I'm going to sound like a stalker. But what you want to do is you want to say, oh, what kind of car do you think I'm going to be looking for? Car, truck, SUV, or van? Two-door, four-door? Oh, you're not sure? It sounds like I should be talking to them. Where's the best place for me to reach them during the day? And that number is, I don't know, spell their last name, and their first name is, now you have a referral. And when is the best time to ask for a referral? Here's another cookie question. Best time to ask for.
Another cookie question? Okay, so I have to find the answer. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Somebody actually got this one right.
Okay.
I didn't think anyone was going to get this one right. Let's see. First one to answer it right was David Sharp. He wrote in all the time. That's the correct answer, right?
And you should be asking for a referral before, during, and after the sale. Every time you talk to the customer, I want you to ask for the referral. And, you know, a lot of salespeople don't ask for the referral because they feel like they're imposing on their customer. Well, that's your opinion. To me, when you ask for a referral, it shows a sign of confidence. It shows me that you're proud of what you do and that you believe in what you do. And your customer may not give you a referral on the first, second, or third ask, but that day is going to come when somebody says, hey, I've been thinking about buying a car. How do you like your XYZ car? And that person's going to go, oh, I got to remember this because next time Jerry calls me, I'm going to have a referral for him. Or better yet, I'm going to call Jerry and let him know I have a referral. And in my opinion, you don't have to pay people to give you referrals. If you treat them with respect and you do them right, they will naturally give you a referral. Matter of fact, if I were to send my mother to any one of you out there, I would not want a referral fee. I would want you to just give her a better deal because I would feel guilty taking a check from you for $100 knowing that that money came from my mother. And in my opinion, if you are going to treat people for doing a referral, do something outside the box. Send them a gift card to a restaurant, or, you know, if they're a golfer, send them a dozen golf balls or something. Do something creative. Now, this one that I pulled up here on my screen is a technique that I like to do when negotiating a deal. See, when I negotiate a deal, my opinion is the harder you negotiate, the more you grind, the better the person thinks they got, the better the deal that person thinks they got. And when you come back out after the first pencil and you go, hey, congratulations, you bought a car, all of a sudden the person's like, oh my God, I just overpaid for it. So I like to grind the heck out of people. Even those people that say they don't want to negotiate, they really want to negotiate. And so let's say that I've got a deal. My manager says, Jerry, you got a good deal, go wrap it up. Well, I'm not going to go wrap it up. I'm going to go back to him. I'm going to use this technique. I'm going to say, Eliana, you know, we're really close to putting a deal together. We're $300 apart right now. And I know you're at the end of your rope. Well, I got to go back to my manager with something. And if I can show him that you're going to be a good source for future opportunities, it's going to help us sell cars, perhaps I can get him to take this skinny deal, and we'll make it up on the next guy. And so you must know some people out there that will be buying an automobile, not now, but down the road. I see you have your cell phone with you. So go ahead and give me some names. I'll go back and I'll see what I can do with my boss. Hell yeah, I'm going to give you some referrals if I think it's going to save you $300 or $300. You know, I might pick some people I don't like and say, yeah, call away. But every time you sell a car, you should be getting more referrals during that sales process. And if they have a trade, ask them, hey, who do you know that might be a likely candidate for your trade? Who's ever told you that they liked your trade? So you always want to be asking for referrals. All right. Now, people don't just wake up in the morning and go, hey, I think I'll buy a car today. What two things, another cookie question, Eliana, I'm giving away a couple $100 worth of cookies here today, folks. What two things motivate people to buy vehicles? What two things motivate? You just get one of these, right, and you'll win yourself a tin of cookies. So two people have that.
I do have one person. Okay, we have our winners. Thank you so much. We have two different winners. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Scroll up because we have a lot of people who wrote in. The first winner is Junior Queen, who had one answer, which was price or savings or money. That is correct. Yes. Junior Queen, congratulations. If you could write in your dealership name and also your mailing address, we'd really appreciate that. And the second winner is Maureen Vitas. Oh my gosh, I hope I got that right. Maureen Vitas also had want and need. Want and need.
Okay, yeah, obviously, you know, I'm not going to wake up in the morning and go, hey, today's the day I'm going to buy a car. You know, maybe I paid off my car loan. Maybe my warranty just expired. Maybe I got in an accident with my car. Maybe my car wouldn't start this morning. That's a need technique. A savings technique would be, you know, when people think that, hey, there's a really good opportunity for me to save some money, this is a good deal, you know, they will act. And if you don't think that works, think about Costco. Why would somebody go into Costco and buy 100 rolls of toilet paper? Is there a big crap storm coming to Charlotte? The apocalypse that I need to have 100 rolls of toilet paper? No. Why do I buy 100 rolls of toilet paper? Because it's a great deal. Maybe I'm getting it at half price. Right? I'm that guy that bought that many rolls of toilet paper, and they're all sitting in my closet still. So when the savings is there, people will act sooner than later. And so knowing this stuff, we can use these techniques to our advantage when we're talking to customers. And here's a neat technique. When people buy a car and they don't buy the extended warranty, the number one reason why they don't get the extended warranty is because they don't keep their cars that long. When I was a finance manager, that was the number one reason why people would not buy the warranty, is because, well, I trade my car in every 3 or 4 years, so I don't need it. Well, this is a great opportunity to call the person. This is Jerry calling from XYZ Motors. The reason for my call is to inform you that your car's warranty is going to be expiring 1 month from now. Has anybody from our dealership contacted you to go over your options? Well, to avoid the possibility of being burdened with a large repair charge, I'd like to invite you into our dealership so we can go over all your options. When are you more available, daytime or evening? And I asked for that appointment. And when they come into the dealership, my options are we can sell them a CPO, we can sell them an extended warranty, or we can go into talking about, I'm going to come back to that slide. Well, we can talk about their trade-in value or the finance termination techniques, which I'll cover in a minute. We also have the Friends and Family VIP program. Your dealership employs, some of you guys are employing 100 people. And if you think about all those 100 people and how many people they know, if everybody at your dealership knows 100 people, think about how many potential customers that is. That's 10,000 people. Those people could be going to other dealerships to buy cars. I would want to build a Friends and Family VIP purchase program and have some published pricing that I can share with my friends and family members. And then I'm going to tell them, I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm a sales professional we have a special program for friends and family members. I'm allowed to put up to 50 names on that list, and that list allows my friends and family members to purchase vehicles at special pricing. I'm going to put your name on that list, and if you're ever thinking of a new or pre-owned vehicle, you'll have the opportunity to save a lot of money. And I might even create a credit card type, a little black VIP friends and family card for my dealership, and I would give those out to my employees and say, folks, I would have a big team meeting. I go, each one of you is going to get 100 of these little cards. We want you to hand them out. Your name has been printed on the card. Anytime somebody brings one of these cards into the dealership, you are going to get a $50 bonus or a $100 bonus. Think about how much you spend on third-party leads to generate a lead, where you got your own employees that can help you generate these leads. And I would rather pay one of my employees $100 to generate a lead for me than to pay it to a third-party lead provider. So think about that one. Now, once I tell this technique, and this is a cookie question, when I get done saying this right here, what would I want to do next? I just got done sharing this with the customer. What would I then want to do next? This is a cookie question, Eliana.
Wow, that was quick. The very first person who wrote in knew the answer, and her name is Erin Hickey. Erin Hickey, you are our winner, and the correct response was prospect.
Prospect the household. Find out how many vehicles are there. Find out what their buying patterns are. Hey, what if? Why wait? What if I could help you right now? Okay, so that's the Friends and Family VIP program. All right, finance termination. The average person, who takes out a 4-year loan, their car will come into equity after 36 months. And there are a lot of great tools out there that are available to dealers. Most CRM companies will have this tool available, or there are third-party companies out there that will tell you when your people are equity right in their vehicles. And this is one that Dealer Socket was telling me about, where they send out a nice mail piece in a FedEx envelope, and they tell the people, hey, great news, right now your car is worth great value, and we have the ability to pay off your current loan, and we'll let you get into a brand new vehicle for little or no money down for a similar payment to what you're paying now. Is this something you might be interested in? And when, asking that, what would be the next thing I want to ask? So after I get done all this, what would I ask for another set of cookies? What would I ask right here?
Okay, last cookie question, everyone. So we want to know, what's the answer to this? What should you do at the end of this conversation? Oh my gosh, first person again got it right. And I remember this name, Wade Huber, got it right. Ask for the appointment. Congratulations,
Absolutely.
Wade.
And if you can't get the appointment, let's prospect the household and schedule a future phone call based on the conversation that we have with that customer. All right? And then, of course, we have the trade technique. This is the one I used to use at the gas station all the time. I use car managers currently looking for good quality pre-owned vehicles, cars just like yours. We normally shop the local and national markets, and we have to pay above market value for these vehicles. As one of our preferred customers, I'd much rather offer you above market value before having to pay top dollar elsewhere. Is this something you might be interested in? Once again, ask for the appointment, prospect, and figure out when you need to call that person again if you can't get the appointment. These are techniques that you can use in person or over the phone. Now, dealerships need to do a better job of creating an environment where their salespeople will do this stuff. Because on a Monday morning, do I need 10 people looking out the window for an up? Hell no. I only need 1 or 2 people looking out that window. The rest of the team should be on the phone doing the stuff that we just talked about. So in my opinion, you don't need to build a BDC for your dealership. Your salespeople are the BDC. They're the ones that should be spending time on the phone talking to their customers. And, you know, it's all about making appointments, folks. If you can make 2 appointments per day, you're going to sell 1 car per day. Well, let's take that back. I'd rather have 3 appointments because 1 might not show. If you can get 2 appointments to show to your dealership each day, you're going to sell a car today. It's a proven fact that appointments will close at a 50% close rate when they come in. And the only way I know to make appointments is by getting on the phone and calling customers. The average salesperson has to call 100 people to make 10 appointments, 10% success rate. So, you know, if I want to make 2 appointments today, then I better call 20 people. And I'm a firm believer in a managed showroom floor. You should have an up system in your dealership. They're making a comeback. There's a company out there, I forget what it's called, but they have some up software that's really cool. And, you know, this is a great way to get everybody logged in your system, because when I'm up, hey, I'm expected to log that 1 opportunity into my CRM system. And you're going to find that when people know that they might only get 1 up that day, they tend to do a much better job with that up. And the dealerships that are on these up systems are finding that their internet lead counts are going down. Why? Because when you do a better job with your walk-in customers, those customers aren't going home and submitting an internet lead. A lot of the people that submit internet leads to multiple dealerships are because they had a bad experience at 1 dealership. So when you give them that great experience when they walk in, you might find that your internet leads are going to go down. All right, so obviously to be successful in a dealership, we need to hire the right people. And here are some of the skills that I like to see. Face-to-face selling skills. Now, you know, would it be great if we could hire somebody that had all this? That would be perfect. But, you know, this is something that you can teach people. And I'll talk about this more in a second. We need to have an amazing phone voice and presence. We need to know what we're going to say on the phone. We need to be effective on the phone. Today's salesperson has to have excellent writing skills, networking ability, computer savvy. Think about how many old dogs that we have that are still, you know, they're afraid of the computer. They don't even want to work it. And then social media friendly. Now, just like in baseball, if I wanted to play professional baseball, I would have to be a good fielder, I would have to be a good hitter, I would have to be able to throw the ball with some velocity, and I need to have speed around those bases. If I can have all 4 of those things and be dominant in those things, then I could play professional baseball. But I don't have that stuff. And in car sales, you have to have multiple skills if you want to be good. And to me, these are some of the most important skills that you need to have. There's others as well. Now, when I look for somebody, you know, obviously the bottom 4, I mean, those are hard things for a dealership to teach a person. So those are things that I want to look for when I hire a salesperson. And, you know, the top 2, hey, I can teach somebody to do those things. So you need to decide what's important to you when you're hiring your people. And I wrote an article maybe about a month ago, and I will show you where you can find it. If you go to my website, phoneninjas.com, down here at the bottom, how to hire great dealer salespeople. It's a great article. It will give you some good food for thought on your next hire. And if your receptionist sees some video training, there's a free video in there. If you want to learn more about what we do, click on that one right there. Go back to my PowerPoint here. We're getting close to being done here, folks. I got a couple more things I want to share with you. And it is actually our contest time. So let me put my PowerPoint back in PowerPoint mode.
Oh, boy.
And let's share with you. Here's our contestants for today's contest. We're going to all be voting on them very quickly. And we've got, well, I'm going to introduce them as I actually go through their emails.
Okay, hold on one second, Jerry. Before you get to that, I want to just tell the audience, if you missed it at the beginning of the webinar, I announced that Phone Ninjas is giving away a awesome prize today, actually, along with the cookies. They're going to be giving away a plane ticket anywhere Delta flies within the contiguous 48 states. In order to enter, when you registered for this webinar, you had to also email Jerry your idea on how you get, finish this sentence for me, Jerry, how they get better prospects through social media?
How they think outside the box to create opportunities for themselves rather than just waiting for them to come to the dealership. So let's start with Glenn Davis from Davis Acura. He's a customer of mine. He wrote, prospecting occurred not just for cars but for marriage. Back in the 60s, my father sold my mother a lemon vehicle from his father's used car lot on Route 1 in Longhorn, PA. The car that's pretty funny. The car turned out to be a major lemon, requiring my mother to return to the dealership multiple times for repairs. My mother was at the dealership so much that eventually my father asked her out on a date to McDonald's. I would not be writing this email to you today if it wasn't for the lemon my father sold my mother. Over the last 50 years, over 100,000 cars have been sold to prospects and referrals due to that one lemon. Think about that. That's pretty interesting. When the world gives you lemons, you can certainly, surely make lemonade. I love it. Great stuff, Glenn. I got a great chuckle when I read that one for the first time. All right, so consider that one when we get ready to vote here. Mike the Car Guy, he wrote me a book here, but let's, I like Mark the Car Guy, so this one's a little bit longer. So basically, Mike the Car Guy, I'm not going to read this one to you verbatim, but Mike the Car Guy takes pictures of all his customers' cars, and not necessarily the people that he sold, but whenever he sees a really cool car coming to the dealership, he'll take a picture of it, and he'll go out and post it on Instagram. Well, he had a customer actually send him a note who had saw the car on Instagram and came into the dealership and thanked him for putting his dad's car on the site. He was pretty intrigued by that, and so let me pick up here. While sitting in the customer's lounge enjoying the free Wi-Fi, my fan jumped onto his iTorch, and when he opened Instagram, he saw his father's gorgeous Mustang for the first time. After showing his dad, he ran up front and asked me for me by my name, Mike the Car Guy. The story would be cute if it ended with me being a young fan of my really cool pictures. However, as I write this, I'm watching that young man's own uncle walk to our F&I office to complete the contracts on his new Ford purchase. My new friend has told his entire family about how awesome our dealership is, and a month after his family Celine was highlighted, his uncle decided to come in and buy a car. That's my first deal from Instagram. Now, when my GM sees me out on the lot lining up the perfect shot, he may just hesitate a moment before screaming at me to get the hell back to the sales desk and sell something, or not. And, you know, Mike the Car Guy put his website out here. And, you know, I really like this, Mike. You've got your own branded website.
Nice.
And so the one thing that I would give you as feedback, Mike, in looking at this is, what dealership do you work at? Put your dealership name on here so that people can associate you with the dealership that you work at. All right, so that's my piece of advice to you there. But good stuff. I love it. All right, let's go to the next one. We've got Kendra. So Kendra writes, we always try to, and my eyesight's going here, so I got to make this a little bit bigger here. We always try to think our new ways to market ourselves, and in doing so, reach out to the community. Many times, those two go hand in hand. It's actually worked great for our dealership as well as helping to provide services to others. One instance that worked well was when a local daycare was inquired about renting a van from us. We loaned them one. Our generosity in this case created a sale of 2 vehicles to the daycare. Our most successful payback was when we provided use of a vehicle to a local resort for use when shuttling guests at needed times. To date, we have sold 11 cars to employees at that business, developing a lasting business relationship with each one. And quite honestly, some have already repeated business with us. Trading and, of course, appearing in our service department, the overall response to common kindness is appealing to people and does more than any ad we could run.
Ooh, I like it.
Yes, very good. All right, Monty, our fourth contestant.
This is really hard. These are all really good.
I know they are. So Monty met me at in Vegas, and he said, after returning from Vegas, I was very busy catching up with leads. Saturday morning last week, I had one of our service customers, Pam, come in. Something you should know about Pam, I've been chatting with Pam for over 2.6 years. Our receptionist pages me down, and I see Pam. I was so excited to see her, thinking I'm going to sell Pam a new CRV finally. Pam, though, had other plans. Pam introduced me to her sister, Michelle. Michelle, this is Monty. He is my car guy. You need to speak with him about your next purchase. I was floored, humbled. I thanked Pam for the kind introduction. I have never sold Pam a vehicle, and it was nice to see that she appreciated all the follow-up over the last 2.6 years. Michelle made the purchase of a new 2014 CRV, and I'm sure Pam will be making a purchase very soon from her car guy. Good stuff, Monty. All right, so let's vote. Go ahead and put the poll question out. Are we going to vote for Glenn, who talked about his dad meeting his mom? We're going to talk about Mike the car guy posting pictures on Instagram. We're going to vote for Kendra, who talked about donating and loaning vehicles out to other businesses, or we're going to go with Monty. So let's get a winner there.
Yeah, there's no wrong answers here. It's which story did you think was the best use of their time, best return, whatever you want to say. But they were all fabulous stories. Oh, my goodness. We have 4 more of these coming your way in Group B as well. We have to pick a winner today from Group A. So please select one of the following. Did you like Glenn Davis's story? Was it Mike the car guys that talked to you? Kendra Taylor had a pretty interesting one as well. And then there was Monty Lala. So I don't know if it's Lala or Layla, whichever one.
While we're waiting for them to pick, let's just talk about our honorable mention, Dave Sharp, who filled one out here and sent it in right when we started the webinar. He writes, we were looking at a small rural town in Mount Pleasant, Texas. This past January, I received a phone call from a guy in Florida. I believe his name was Jim. He was he was at a gas station near his home and saw a fellow in a new Ram 1500 and liked the truck. Jim asked the guy where he bought the truck, and he told Jim that he got it at our dealership and was passing through Texas on vacation and gave Jim my card. When Jim got home from the gas station, he called me and told me what happened, and 2 days later, Jim flew from his home in Florida and picked up a new 2013 Ram. This was pretty cool since the original customer had no previous connection with anyone here at the dealership, but simply saw the truck while he was on a vacation. He was impressed enough with our customer service and the whole buying experience that he shared it with a complete stranger, and we ended up selling him as well. That is awesome stuff. And when you treat people right and you do great things, they will gladly talk about their experience because they want other people to have that great experience as well. And people talk about cars so often. All right, so Eliana, who won round A?
Okay, let's close this poll and share the results. It was close. It was a nail-biter, but you know what? Kendra Taylor, she squeaked it out. 34% of today's audience liked her story. And
awesome.
Glenn Davis was so close, and so was Mike the car guy. They were all really, really close, as you can see from the results. Thank you all so much for voting, and thank you, you 4, for such great, insightful stories. They were fabulous. We have 4 more to listen to, right?
Yes, we do, and I'm going to run through these very quickly here. So the next one is came from Scott Klein, and he says, since you're the phone ninja king, I think you'll love the enclosed. And he basically sends me a script that they use with other businesses. And I was going to write him back and give him some feedback on this, but I'll share it with you. So thank you for calling ABC Widgets. This is how may I help you? Hi, Mary. I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time. So I like saying to people, I hope you didn't catch you at a bad time. You had said, is this a good time to be talking? And I like to do that up front because when you tell people who you are, they can shut you down. Now, you had approached people about the fact that they had won a 42-inch flat screen or they were going to have a chance to win a TV. And to me, that's not enough. When I approach another business, I want to let them know that it's not just about letting them win something, but it's also about letting them know that I want to help them generate more business as well. So I changed your script around a little bit to say we're looking to develop relationships with other local businesses to help, and I didn't finish what I was going to write, basically to help you generate business and to also see that how we can generate business for ourselves. And as part of this whole campaign, we're going to be giving away a free 42-inch flat screen TV. And thus you then go into getting their name and number, and you actually go into prospecting that person and asking them about what they're currently driving. So I love your script. It's good stuff. In my opinion, it's a little long and lengthy. You're gonna have a hard time to get them to follow all this. But hey, if it's working for you, keep doing it. So that's just a little tidbit feedback for you there. But I love what you guys are doing. You're out there cold calling other businesses and trying to build a relationship with them. So that's good stuff.
Oh, that is good.
Let's look at the next one from Mike. I was at our local Home Depot store a while back, and I received an excellent service from one of the employees. I thanked him and said, you know, you have given me the best service I've ever received in this store. Here's my business card. And this kind of goes hand in hand with my Friends and Family VIP program. This is where you could hand out one of those credit cards and say, hey, I've really appreciated what you've just done for me. I'm going to do something for you in return. Then he goes on and says, when you are in the market for a vehicle, I would like the opportunity to give you the same level of service that you've given me today. Every time I would return to the store and Earl would see me, he would go out of his way to make sure I was taken care of. He said he was not in the market at this time, but his son was. We scheduled an appointment for the next weekend, and he came in with his son, and I sold him a Dodge Dart. Earl was the best third baseman I've ever had. And, hey, that's great stuff right there. So, you know, salespeople, you want to be keeping your salesman's cap on 7x24. I love it when dealerships have a branded shirt and a name tag, because when you're out there visiting places like this is going to help spark a conversation. I mean, I've seen people say, oh, hey, you work at that dealership? I mean, I went to a lunch with a dealer one time, and he had his name tag on, and, hell, you work at the dealership? I've been thinking about coming down there to buy such and such a car. Boom, instant appointment. All right, so this is great stuff. Joe writes, recently while calling a third-party lead, we found that they had provided us with a wrong number. Rather than apologizing for the call, we chose to ask if they, the person who answered the phone, were looking to get into a new vehicle. They were not, but to our surprise, the contact told us at his home owners association meeting, one of the attendees spoke about the ordeal they were going through while shopping for a car. I politely asked for the name and number of this person. He gave it to us. We called, and that person ended up leasing a car from us. So never underestimate the power of a wrong number.
Huh.
And that is, and I had, this happened to me. I can relate to this because I was at a dealership one time. I was training the BDC staff, and I just got done talking about prospecting. And I'm sitting there, the phone rings, the girl goes, oh, I'm sorry, you get the wrong phone number, and hung up on the person. I go, you should have prospect that person. And she's like, oh, I didn't think about that. And so the phone rings like 30 seconds later, and she goes, hey, what do you want to bet it's the wrong number again? I go, give me the phone, I'll show you how to do this. And so the girl goes, she goes, is this Macy's? I go, no, you've actually called the car dealership. But I go, let me get you the right number. I'm gonna look it up for you right now. While I'm doing that for you, I don't know if you realize this or not, but you called the car dealership. I go, what kind of car do you drive? And she goes, I don't have one. I go, you don't? I go, would you like one? She's like, yeah. I go, why don't you have a car? She goes, well, because I went into a dealership and, you know, they couldn't get me financed. And I go, oh, well, how are you getting around? She goes, a bus. I go, well, you know, what did the dealership tell you? She goes, well, they told me I needed to pay off some things and save up some more money. I go, well, have you taken care of that? She goes, yeah. I go, how much money have you saved up? She goes, I got like $5,000 saved up. I go, I think we can help you. And I made an appointment. Not only did I make an appointment with her, but I had one of the salespeople go pick her up, and we sold her a car that day.
What?
So, yes. And that was in Pennsylvania.
That's
all right, so,
great.
hey, Joe, that's great stuff. I love that one. John Sherrill. John says, we were taking an old shuttle van out of service that typically would be wholesaled off. Instead, we decided to try and help someone in need instead of trying to recoup the money out of the van. We spoke with local charities and picked a family in need that was going through a very hard time, as well as financially. They also lost everything they had in the house fire. We decided to give them the van and also filled it with household items and clothes for the family. We'd never intended for this to be a prospect or referral, just trying to do the right thing. However, after the local charities found out and word of mouth spread, we were swamped with people coming in because of what we had done. This one thing has resulted in hundreds of car deals and a very positive standing in the community, more than any referral prospect campaign could ever have done. And that, my friends, is very powerful. And I'll be surprised if he doesn't win the overall thing, because I love that, and I believe in giving back. And you know, that's kind of a little thing that's near and dear, because there are a lot of people out there that are going through tough times, and you know, sometimes some of these people put themselves in that position, but others have just had bad things happen to them. And, you know, sometimes we do need to give those people a helping hand. And So I really like that one, and it touched me when I read it. So great stuff, John, and your dealerships to be commended for doing that. So let's go ahead and vote on round B, Eliana.
So which one did you like best from Group B? Please select one of the following answers. So did you like Scott Klein, who, now I forget which one. Was he the one that went to Home Depot?
Okay, so yeah, let's go back to we got this one. Scott Klein. No, he does the business to business, like his business.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
Yep.
So he calls different businesses, and he tries to get them to do business and.
And then we got Mike, who was at the Home Depot, and built a relationship with the Home Depot guy, and that's the only guy's son a car.
Yeah, that was good too.
And then we got Joe. This is a good one. The wrong number. Hey, those wrong numbers happen. We hear them a lot. That's a good one. And then John's, which is the one we just talked about with the charity. So pick your winner there.
All right, audience, we don't have a majority of the votes yet, but once we get them, I'll close this poll and we'll share the results. And, dude, vote! Where is everyone? I know you're here.
Eliana, if you see a majority or going for one of them, we can just close the contest out and then vote between Group A and Group B.
Okay, here we go. We're closing it out and sharing the results. Well, you were right. Overwhelmingly, today's audience picked John Sherrill from Reardon Automotive. 87% of today's audience liked it.
Now we got to pick between Group A and Group B. So the person that won Group A was, remind me, it was Kendra.
Yes, Kendra Taylor from Jesse James Chrysler. Remind everyone what she did again.
She basically, they would loan their van out to charity. They also loan their van out to local businesses.
That's powerful stuff.
Yes. All right, so go ahead and poll the audience whether they would like Kendra or John to win.
Okay, so Kendra is Group A, John Sherrill is Group B. They have very similar tactics. Both went towards a charity perspective. Kendra, I think, added in not just charities, but also
yeah, they would actually
businesses.
They didn't give it, they loaned their vehicle.
Right, right.
Whereas John's dealership gave away their shuttle van that they were going to take out of service.
Right. So once we get a majority of the votes in, we'll close this poll, share the results.
While we're waiting for the results, obviously I hope I've shared with you some things that we could be doing to generate business without having to pay for business. It's about building relationships with the people in your community. Some of you all are in small communities, and once you get all those people into your CRM, there's no reason for you to have to keep paying third-party lead providers to give you the same leads every 3 or 4 years. Build them yourself. And when you don't have to spend that money, you can take that money and you can use it on your existing customer base by doing things like donating a van here or there, or charity work. And it's all about getting our salespeople motivated to do these things. And as managers on this call, it's your job to see that these salespeople are doing these types of things. That's managing your people. And nothing irks me more than when I go to a dealership and I hear a manager say, "Oh, I can't get my salespeople to do that." I just want to whack them upside the head and say, then you're not a manager. Because a manager is going to make their salespeople do these things. Working at a dealership is not a democracy. It's a dictatorship. And if they won't follow your lead, then chop their head off. Get rid of them. Find somebody that will do the job instead of waiting around and paying for third-party leads to come to your dealership. That's you're just feeding these companies out there that are trying to build a relationship with your customers. They're trying to steal your competition, your customers. They are your competition. So build your own leads. Eliana, who's our winner?
Okay, we're going to close this poll. Drum roll, anyone? Share the results. Group B, with 58% of today's vote, has won. That is John Sherrill, right?
Congratulations, John. It was a very touching story. And to get your plane ticket, you, at any point between now and the end of the year, or even next spring, send me an email, Jerry at phoneninjas.com. I'll need to know your full name, date of birth. You tell me where you want to go, and I'll book your plane ticket. I have hundreds of thousands of miles on Delta since I fly so much on them, and we'll get you a plane ticket. Eliana, let's go ahead and
But I do have to say, congratulations to every single person who entered into that contest. You all had amazing ideas. That was fabulous stuff. I thought
and they're all winners. They're all winners, Eliana, because they're selling cars non-traditionally.
Yes, and you know what? To go also to your point, I think some very tight-knit groups that dealerships or salespeople at dealerships should look at: military, police, firemen. If you can get in good with those three groups in your community, once you are nice to one fireman, for instance, they tell all their fireman buddies. Once you're nice to, you offer a military discount, all the other military people will follow. If they think they can get a great deal and great service from you, they will tell all their buddies, and they're very, very close-knit groups. And David wrote in, and teachers, and so did Brad. Teachers apparently as well. So another great group, and they travel in clumps.
Yeah. Hey, birds of a feather flock together. You know, when you get financially challenged people, but all of a sudden all their friends start coming to your dealership. So yeah, absolutely.
Actually,
all right, let's open this up to questions and answers.
Okay. Okay. Brad wrote in, and he's using terms I haven't heard before, so I have to be honest. This sounds a little cryptic to me, but he says, to prevent the up burner, the guy who talks to 100 people to sell 20 cars, do you favor a closed floor up system?
Absolutely, and that's how you always want to look at, I've had dealerships say to me, oh, Jerry, leave Bob alone. He's our best salesperson, He's selling 20, 25 cars a month. And then I start to watch what Bob does, and Bob just goes around, hey, here's my card. If anything I can help you with, let me know. And then he goes to the next guy. And Bob is just an up-hogger who's looking for that person that says, hey, I want to buy a car. And every dealership has one of those people. So when you put a managed floor in your store, if Bob is taking 200 ups and he's only closing 10% of them, and the rest of your salespeople is closing 20% of the people they talk to, well, you're going to sell more cars by shutting that guy down, and you're going to identify that you have a weak link. Because a lot of dealers have no clue how many people their people are talking to because they're not getting accurate counts. Because whenever I go into a CRM system and I see a guy who's got a 45% close ratio, I'll show you a guy who's not logging all his opportunities. Good question.
Yeah, Brad wrote in. He says he likes the Next Up for showroom management.
That is the company, Next Up. That's the company. They have a great little product.
Ah, okay, there you go. Okay. Eric Milch was actually on the call today.
My man Eric.
And he said earlier when you were talking about that software company, he said it's called iStabilizer. Oh,
no, that's the bar that he holds up with his camera on, or his phone on that bar, the iStabilizer. Awesome little tool. And we had a lot of fun with that out at Dealer Sockets.
Ah, very cool. Well, Eric.
And Blake Abergas had a little bit too much fun with it. But we won't go there.
Okay. Good to know. Okay. Jeff wrote in, what do you think about walk-around video iPhone app?
I don't know much about it. I really don't have a need to make that walk-around video myself. So I guess that would probably be a question that go on to Facebook and post that on my page. I guarantee you somebody will get back to you on that one.
Because you know what? And I am now convinced they make an app for everything. They make an app to help you do a walk-around video. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, hey, if you can think of it, it's probably been built already.
Tell me about it. Okay.
All right, so go to my Facebook page. If you're not friends with me, send me a friend request, and then post that on my friends page. I guarantee you somebody I'm connected with will get back to you and answer that question.
Okay, yeah, and Eric is writing into Eric Milch, and he's saying C-Demo has a great solution for that for walk-around videos too. So if you need help with that, it looks like there is stuff out there that can help you with that. Okay, this is great from Adil. Adil says, I just thought I'd share this with you and Jerry, not for the contest, but I wanted to share my story. I started working for Epic Auto Sales back in February this year. I'm not in sales. I just do their website and social media, etc. Anyway, there was a lady in the lot walking around with her mother. No sales associates were in sight, so I decided to just go say hello to them. I told them I wasn't in sales. However, I didn't want them walking around without any help from us. Anyway, I showed her 3 trucks, and she ended up buying a Navigator. The customer appreciated the fact that I didn't, quote-unquote, act like a salesperson, but just as a person who was showing her the cars. So there you go.
And I want to touch on that for a minute because, I'm tired of going into a business and having people say, well, that's not my job. If you work at a business, your job is to help customers. And, all too often I see departments in a dealership, like, for instance, we get a lot of parts hold. It's like they got one person answering the phone. The rest of the people are busy stocking shelves or doing something. Well, that customer on the phone is your most valued possession. And if you don't stop doing what you're doing and pick up the phone and help that customer, you ain't going to have a job. So everybody that is in the dealership, when a customer is in that dealership, it's your job to say hi to that person, to greet them, to make them feel warm and invited and welcome. And, we need to do more of that. So that's good stuff right there.
Adil, thank you so much for sharing your story. That was awesome. Jerry, I want to tell you, you're on the wrong slide, pal. Show everyone your pretty face. He does begrudgingly. Okay, we are way over time, so we're going to get to a few more of these comments, and then we'll close up the show, all right? So this one comes in from Mike. He says he didn't have a mic. This is when we were asking for volunteers with a microphone. But he says he's using Instagram and also using send out cards. He says he takes a picture of the client and then sends them a card with their picture with brownies. Look.
I love it.
Today. I'm sure they'll go crazy for brownies too.
Hey, do the things that others won't. You'll have the things that others don't. That's going outside the box and doing something that other people aren't doing. It's going to create a name for yourself.
I love it. I love it too. Mike, thank you so much for the great props. I love it. Okay, hey, we got another one. This one's from Michael. Different Mike, but this one's from Michael. He says, Jerry, what are your thoughts on QR codes?
There are some companies out there that have QR codes, and I was at Joe Webb and I were filming some comedic videos for Digital Dealer at a dealership in North Carolina here, and we were there on a Sunday because the dealership was closed. We wanted to do our filming when nobody was there, and I was amazed at how many people drove on that lot while we were there at the dealership. I guarantee you that dealership had more ups on a Sunday than they did on a Saturday and a lot of these people don't want to be bothered by a salesperson. So, I would say maybe dealers ought to think about putting QR codes on their cars for those people that drive in after hours or on Sundays. Heck, if I was a salesperson, maybe I might develop a QR code. Myself, I don't have time to stop, load up my phone, and take a picture of a QR code. So for me, it doesn't really excite me too much. But if there are people, I would have to see some more data on how effective QR codes are. But if people are doing it, and then why not give it a try, And if you find that it works, great. If it doesn't work, then axe it and move on to something else that will work.
There you go. Michael, good luck with that. We'd love to find out how those QR codes do work out for you. Scott Klein, one of our contestants today, he was writing in all day to me with all kinds of stuff that he does. So first of all, he wanted you to know that Thibeau on AutoTrader, Cars.com, and Craigslist is a potential gold mine, just so you know that. He says he also uses a referral document at the time of sale as part of the paperwork, and he says it yields him an average of 5 referrals for every sale. That's huge.
Well, and now see, now he's doing that after he's already closed the sale.
Right.
And if he's getting results, that's great. But I like to use it during the sale because when you give people a what's in it for them statement, they're more likely to do what you want them to do. And the what's in it for them statement is they're going to get a better deal if they give us some referrals.
Right, right.
So, for those who struggle doing it after the sale, they might want to try it during the sale. But hey, if he's getting 5 every time, that's really strong. And the reason why he's getting 5 is because he's asking, and he's obviously developed the technique, and it's working for him. So good stuff.
Excellent stuff. He also, when we were talking about groups that would be great to try and get into, like the police and the military and stuff like that, he also said gay and lesbian groups are awesome. They love people who, give them great deals, and they're a very close-knit group. So there you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just throwing that out there. They got money. Their money's green. All right, here we go. Sean asked a question. Do you believe in getting 100% TO by a manager?
Absolutely. I don't care how good of a salesperson you are. And when you TO, sometimes that second face is, all it takes to close that customer. Or maybe, and especially like rookie salespeople, I mean, God, you definitely want to TO all of their customers and even the veterans. And it's a better chance for that manager to understand what that salesperson is experiencing, and teaching that salesperson, hey, here's an opportunity, for instance, where you probably should have showed this customer some pre-owned cars as well as that new car that you showed them. And so it's a training opportunity, and it is also a chance to close that customer. And if I'm the manager and I'm doing follow-up calls the next day to customers, looking to close a few deals, well, that customer now knows who I am when I'm calling them. So, yeah, a lot of dealers aren't doing TOs, and in my opinion, they should be done 100% of the time.
Well, Sean actually wrote back in, and he said he started filming a great new video series called Meet Auto Fair Ford, where we have staff members introduce themselves, and they have their own landing page. And what do you think of having videos of the staff members embedded inside the submission forms on our website? It gives a face to who will speak to them when they submit their information.
It's all about, I mean, when you think about communication, the internet lead, the words on a computer screen, that's very hard to associate a face with a person or what that person's all about. And when you can gravitate to a phone call, now they have voice inflections. Well, when you can get them to watch a video, they can hear your voice, they can see what you look like, they can associate you as a real person, and as long as you don't look like Frankenstein, there's a good chance you're going to get that person to come down and want to meet you. Which is why Elise Kephart is so successful. She's we won't pump her up too much. She's a fairly attractive woman. No, Elise is a little cutie pie. And, people see that about her and they go, I want to go down and meet that person. So, by all means.
She's still on the call, Jerry.
Well, her little baby's cuter than she is.
Oh, well, no, she probably is.
Sure. So, and she'll agree with me on that one. But, that's why Elise does so well, is because people get to see that she's a real, genuine person. And a lot of people are afraid of video, but you need to embrace video. And I remember the first time I made my first training video, I sucked at it. And it took me a few days of shooting video after video after video before I became really comfortable with it. And so it's just a matter of doing it and making it a habit and getting comfortable with it.
Great idea, Sean. I wish you the best of luck on that. That's really, really cool. And Elise Kephart did write back, and she says, yup, Lily has the cheeks. Okay, last question comes to us from Kelly Wilson, one of our winners today. She says, what would be your #1 idea for BDC reps? My team is giving feedback here that this is great for cradle to grave and floor guides, but what about the people that start the convos, set the appointments from internet lead setting? Where are they working as a team? Where they work as a team?
So, obviously they can incorporate videos into their process as well, and I would not underestimate the power of asking for a referral. So, ask for the referral. If you have a good conversation with a customer on that phone call, even though it's a first-time conversation, let them know that, hey, that's one of the ways we get business. And I always like to start off by saying we give them the what's in it for them statement. As you know, 2 deals are always better than 1. So let them know that, hey, if there's anybody else out there in the market, you could possibly get a better deal if there's more than 1 person. And so go through your referral technique with them. And then when that person comes to the dealership, that BDC agent should be following up with them, and they should do the customer sat call. Hey, just wanted to call and make sure your experience while at our dealership was met your satisfactions, and see what that person has to say, and then ask for a referral again. And then when they do take delivery of the vehicle, that person should check in and make sure everything, and always be asking for a referral, because you'd be surprised at how many, of those people would be willing to give you a referral.
And Kelly, thank you so much for the great question. And Jerry, seriously, awesome presentation. Thank you. That was fabulous.
Well, thank you for having me today. It was a pleasure. And make sure you get me the list of cookie winners, and I'll get their cookies in the mail.
Oh, they are all expecting the cookies, except for one who says he doesn't eat cookies. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking you should send those to me.
Well, okay.
Just check.
Well, he can give them away then if you want.
I told him. He said he was going to give them away to his first client who bought a car after he got them. All right. So, absolutely fantastic presentation. Of course, we are way past the top of the hour. Any questions that weren't answered during the time allotted going to be answered by email later today. I want to remind the audience, we recorded this. We're going to be emailing that to you later today for your reference. Feel free to share it with friends and colleagues. And today's webinar is also going to be posted online within 24 hours. So just go to dealeron.com/webinars and click on the link on the right-hand side for on-demand webinars, and there you can access any of our past webinars. You can also view and register for any of our upcoming webinars, too. Hey, this webinar is going to conclude.
Eliana, make sure they have them. I want some people to go back to my Facebook page and give me some feedback on this webinar as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be sending out the survey. Please let us know what you thought of Jerry's presentation. Give us your honest feedback.
We'll probably get a little negative feedback from the third-party vendors.
I mean, we'll see what happens, but it can't be done without you. We want to know what you think. So fill out that survey. We're going to pick out a couple people from those completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. So you have no reason not to do it. We want to know what you think. And we do, of course, thank you in advance for your feedback. I also want to let you know that Dealeron's going to be at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention in Las Vegas, baby. It's going to be at the Mirage, October 15, 16, and 17. I'm going to be there. We'll be at booth 809. And I know that this...
Eliana?
Yeah.
Eliana? Why does Amir have a picture of a homeless guy there?
I keep telling him I hate that picture of him. I don't know. He's such a handsome fellow. I don't understand why he likes that picture. Maybe if I get enough people to harp on him, he'll finally go and hire a professional photographer. But if you come to Vegas and go and actually see him speak, you'll see he's much cuter than that picture. And although I only have 4 listed here, we actually have 5 presenters from Dealer On that are going to be speaking at the Digital Dealer Convention. They're all amazing, and you have to catch at least one of them, if not all 5. We, of course, appreciate it. And if you're going to be there, well, hey, we'd love to see you, so please stop by our booth for more information or to get your tickets. Go check out digitaldealerconference.com. Oh, yeah. Jerry's going to be there, too. Phone Ninjas in the house at Digital Dealer at the Mirage. They're going to be at the booth, and Jerry's also going to be speaking there. And I have heard that is going to be a great presentation, too. When a stranger calls, I might have to have you come and do it.
Joe Webb and I got some great stuff planned for that.
I would love to see you guys do one for me about when a stranger calls. I think that's amazing. So you can't miss that one either. And
I'll call you tonight and I'll disguise my voice.
Oh, really? Don't do that. We'll think of another way. Okay, invitations are going to be going out tomorrow for our next webinar. How to maximize your advertising budget and avoid the dreaded automotive Bermuda Triangle. Oh, yeah, there are 3 things that must be considered to properly determine your dealership's ad budget. Do you know what they are? Otherwise, your dealership could be in jeopardy of getting caught in the automotive Bermuda Triangle, the dreaded place where dealerships flounder with their advertising strategy, languish in mediocre to low ROI, and virtually disappear in an ocean of their competitors. Are you there now? Well, not to worry. Jim Flint is here to help you navigate through the mysterious advertising waters. In this 1-hour webinar, he'll discuss how to prioritize your dealership budget so that you stay ahead of the competition and don't get lost at sea. So if you're ready to maximize your advertising strategy, then this is one webinar you just can't afford to miss. It's going to be another fabulous presentation by your friends at Dealeron. Don't forget Dealeron.
And I've seen Jim speak. He is very good. Definitely worth going to.
I have to say, the reason I asked him to be on the webinar series is because I heard him speak, standing room only, applause. Everyone stood up at the end and clapped. I mean, This guy is good. Really, really
Yes, he
good.
is.
You will do yourself a favor by showing up to see him speak next Thursday, October 3rd. You don't want to miss it. Remember, our weekly webinars are held every Thursday, 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Hope to see you there. We've got some great webinar subjects planned for this year. But if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions regarding these webinars and our topics, hey, contact me directly. I love hearing from you. It's Eliana Raggio. You can track me down online on any one of the automotive social networks or email me at eliana@dealeron.com. Thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today, and I hope to see you all on a future webinar in our continuing education series. Have yourselves a good one.